I solo played Shadowdark for the entire month of April, and I want to share with you the most important things I learned through that process. And by the end of this, you may want to take on a similar challenge for yourself. Hey, my name is Jared, as implied by the channel name, and I'm still relatively new to solo play in the grand scheme of things. But after taking the leap into the hobby, I've quickly fallen in love with it, and it's something that I believe can be for anyone. I don't think you have to do it for 30 days in a row to fall in love with it, but I did. So let's start with the why really quick to understand the reason I took this on in the first place. Reason one, and most importantly, I wanted to play. Like, have it on the calendar and actually play. Not think, man, I hope I can make time for it today. I just made time every day. Reason two was to push myself to try new things. Solo play as a whole is pretty new to me, but I knew if I pushed myself to play every day, I would get way more exposure to the hobby as a whole, and boy, did I. And then reason three was to inspire other people to try it out. And then that may have only manifested itself in the smallest amount during this challenge, but I believe those are the ripples that can inspire others over time, practicing what you preach, as it were. Reason four, and the last I'll give for now, is that I wanted to just complete something. I alluded to this in my first video that I recorded, which was just a few hours after my first ever solo session. I want to really follow through on things, and it was sweet to finish out that last day. So, with the reasoning out of the way, let's start making our way to what you really came here for. First, how did this all start, and why did I play solo sessions every day for a month? Before the start of this month-long endeavor, I would just sit down and play. I had no strategy or approach. I just rolled dice, journaled, and played until it felt good enough, or until I had other obligations. Some of those sessions were hours long and covered long spans of time in game. I had a lot of fun in those sessions, but I was beat after them. Hours of sitting, writing, and rolling dice took it out of me. So I sometimes dreaded playing in ways. It was all I knew at the time, so I started thinking about consistency. I made a video about my thoughts on that, and I'll link it if I remember to. Consistency was something I needed to find, so I set out to play every day for the month of April. The solo seshathon, I called it, and day by day I played until it was done. Now to the important part. How did it go? What did I learn? It was great. Honestly, better than I could imagine in a lot of ways. I saw pages filling up in my journal. I saw a weird and unique story developing, and I had my love for solo play grow dramatically. And here are some of the things that I learned through the process. Let me know which of them, if any, resonate with you. Number one is knowing your time frame is important. Gary Gygax once said, "You cannot have a meaningful campaign if strict time records are not kept." And I will twist that to work in my favor like I'm writing a college research paper that I'm putting together in the night before it's due. I found that setting parameters for my solo play sessions changed everything. Throwing it back to Gygax, I track the days that I play in game. And when I set up this challenge to myself, I decided I would play one in-game day at a time, with exceptions for busier days. What's weird is that I hadn't thought to limit myself before this point. I really thought that more was more, and I came to learn that less was more. I will dive into this more at a later point, but in short, this changed the way I play and gave me deeper, more meaningful sessions. So that's number one. You need to set up a time frame that you will be playing in within your games. So feel free to go longer or shorter where it makes sense. Number two, mindset is everything, like how we approach the game. There were days I wanted to phone it in during this. 30 days is a long time to keep up a habit like this. Sessions were anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour during this time, and if you think about how long we watch TV or YouTube or scroll on our phones, all of those things are consuming, just mindlessly most of the time. Hours and hours of our time every week are just thrown away with little return. Those days that I could have phoned it in, they turned into story. Even if it was a small portion of the story because it was all I could muster up, I played a part in the story as a whole. So mindset is key. This isn't just time, it's creativity, it's storytelling. No matter how small, it all plays a part. Number 3, the dice know best. I think we have all wanted to punish our dice before. Just slap them around a bit until they get their act together. Maybe some of them deserve it, but the dice can be fickle. But through this time of playing, I found that the dice's story was far more interesting than the story I had in my mind. Missed hits, critical failures, a no but to a question I wanted a yes for. Through it all, the dice were inviting me to think beyond my answers and to look at a more exciting and interesting story that could be told. There is nothing more exciting than a twist that you didn't expect. I've alluded to my love for the Dungeon Crawler Carl books, and I think that the author, Matt Dinneman, writes as if he just was rolling and let the dice take him down unexpected turns all the time. I'm learning that those unexpected turns give my stories flavor and life, and as the dice switch tracks on me mid-journey, it's on me to keep my head on a swivel so I can tell the story the dice are dictating. Now as I roll the dice, I still have ideas in my head of what I think would happen, but a light bulb goes off when that thing doesn't happen, and that's when my brain gets to really work on the determining the why behind the differing result. And I feel I'm better for those moments. My games are better for those moments. Number 4, the questions you ask mean everything. This could and probably will be its own video at some point, but asking good questions is everything. I think that this applies to questions that the characters ask and questions that I ask of the game. So let's break down why. We've all been in conversations where someone just asks us one of the questions. So, what's new? What's up? Or how's it been going? And nothing's wrong with those questions. They're answers that can be provided for sure, but usually not interesting ones. Now, have you been in a conversation with someone who knew how to ask good questions? They follow up on an old conversation or make you feel seen by asking about your passions. Those conversations have depth to them. There is real connection there. The same is true about good questions being asked of and in your game. They can deepen your engagement with your games immensely. So, how did I ask better questions? I think you need to be genuinely curious about your characters and about your game. How did they react to this situation? What made them form these opinions? Where do they find themselves emotionally after the departure of a dear friend? Again, a topic for another time. Let me know if you think that would be something you'd watch as well. Number 5, dull sessions are important. I put dull in quotations. Every session is important. My very first session of this entire month-long challenge was my first ever recorded session, and virtually nothing happened. Or at least that's what I thought. I think we're conditioned to believe that play is thrilling and exciting things happening in the world around our characters. I've come to learn that an equally rewarding form of play is just letting your characters share a quick scene with one another. Those sessions where no encounters are rolled are prime real estate for you to build up the whole reason that you're on an adventure in the first place, the characters. Each session you play reveals something about your world and your characters. You just have to be engaging with it. So each session has a purpose in your campaign. And you may not know what that purpose is right away, but if you treat each session like it is the most important one, chances are you'll make it an important one. Number 6, believe it or not, having fun is actually important. I'm not sure if this applies to you or not, but I am a people pleaser. I really don't want to upset people or do things in a way that would make people think differently of me in a not so positive way. And would you know it, that feeling crept into my solo play mentality. Not even regarding the videos that I've made. I'm talking about the way I play. I didn't want to take the easy way out or take it too easy on my characters or use torches wrong since I've been playing Shadowdark. I did this to the detriment of my fun at times. And it hit me. Actually, it hit me multiple times, and I'm filing a restraining order as we speak. This is a game for me. This is a game for you. My goblin priest Yarky has nearly died over half a dozen times, and it's comical at this point, but it's because he has virtually no health. Every level up, he's rolled a 1 or a 2. That's been fun to play out at times, but what I really would like is for him to get up in the fray every now and then and not get one shot. But I was afraid that finding a way to give him health would be almost cheating. I was afraid I wouldn't appease the masses. My friends, it's solo play. I am the masses. If it's more fun for you to go against the norm every now and then, do it. This isn't a convention where your character had just died and the game's over for you, but you're refusing to acknowledge that and continuing to play anyway. This is your game, and yours alone. Have fun with it. Be cognizant of the rules, but be cognizant of your personal enjoyment as well. So please, please remember to have fun. Number 7, and the last thing that I'll share before this is over, is that you just have to be willing to take the next step. You don't have to know what it will look like. There were days that I was stepping into uncharted territory during this. There were days I was going to try a new thing out that I had never done before, and I was shaky with it. I'm really particular about what I do in life. I actually tried out for the basketball team in 7th grade and didn't make it. And I have never really tried to play basketball since then. Why? Because I wanted to be good. I wanted to be great, but I didn't put in the time. And the same applies to this. You have to be willing to be slow, unsure of where you should look for an answer, making an on-the-spot decision rather than waiting until the perfect solution comes along. You have to be willing to just take the next step. There were days during this where I turned on the camera to record my session thinking, man, I have no clue how I'm going to do fill in the blank. There are times I have let fear hold me back when I have those thoughts. And even if I hadn't been recording, those things might have held me back from playing for days or weeks. Or maybe you find yourself in the same situation, but you have never played a solo session in your life. You want to, but you just haven't taken the first step. Pause this video and do it. Make your character. Make a loose outline of a world. Roll some dice and then take the next step after that. And after that. Before you know it, you're running. After this month, I'm super familiar with the rules of Shadowdark. I still check some of the time, but a majority of situations, I just go with what I have learned and don't flip in the book to check. It's really fun to see that progression. And you can see it too if you just start. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, the most important lesson or something that would have been more shocking to put in this video, but the reality is I grew in my love for the hobby and I found some things that work for me. Maybe you want to start a challenge of your own. Do it. It doesn't have to be every day, but it should be a time for you to explore and have fun. I'll link my solo seshathon video on the screen or in the description if you're interested in taking something like this on. I put together a small document outlining the challenge and how to set something of your own up as well. I'm still learning what I like and what works for me with all of this solo play stuff, and I invite you to learn as well. And the only way to learn in this case is by doing. You can watch all the videos in the world, but until you pick up the game and start playing, it's all consumption, and you deserve to live it. So, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, I have a handful more that you might enjoy, including some videos of me actually playing, and feel free to check those out. Let me know what some of your biggest learning lessons have been in solo play as well. I'd love to learn from you guys. And until next time, peace.